sites. In the occupation of the West Bank by sending money to Israel, the state of Minnesota is enabling Israel to afford the continuing occupation of the West Bank against the occupation of the Palestinian people, against the objection, of the Palestinian people who live there. It cannot be argued that the occupation is requested by those being occupied, which then makes it illegal under international law. Nor can it be argued that it's a benevolent occupation. This is especially true when Israel toys with the lives of Palestinians by building so-called security walls, preventing Palestinians under occupation from running their own affairs, from freedom of movement, and from the enjoyment of life that most people in the world like to enjoy. The additional problem that is created by the occupation is the steady movement of Jewish settlers onto Palestinian lands against the wishes of those who lived there in the past several centuries. Each new illegal settlement that is built is one more nail in the coffin of those who live there. The land and the precious water is being steadily stolen from those who live there by Israeli settlers, making talk of peace by agreement nothing more than a distant dream. And one more item is the 2014 destruction of Gaza by Israel. The Palestinians in Gaza are poor in the extreme. Gaza has been called the largest open-air prison in the world. Their seaside is blockaded by the Israeli military. Their airspace is controlled by the Israeli Air Force, and it's landlocked by entry points at Rafah crossing by a cooperating Egyptian government and by the Israeli border, which is closed to Palestinians for both purposes. Palestinians have armed themselves by smuggling weapons into Gaza, primitive weapons, whatever they can get their hands on. No matter the poor quality of the weapons, they are trying to show that they are struggling against Israel's blockade, so that the people of Gaza will not believe that they've been forgotten what is today. We saw in 2014 a one-sided battle between Israel and Hamas, which resulted in a lopsided killing ratio between the two, between 2,140 and 2,300, and the result is a country that bristles with the most modern weapons, anxious to expand its hegemony over all of its Arab neighbors, and the result is an almost continuous state of warfare in the Middle East. My sincere request of this board is that you not aid and abet Israel's policy of expansion and aggression by sending even more money to help what it's doing. I ask you please not to continue with your program of sending Israel more money by purchasing their bonds.
Completed its World Affairs Survey February 8 to February 10, 2015. 70% of those Americans polled evaluate Israel as very or mostly favorable in their view of Israel. There is historic support for Israel in Minnesota. There is national consensus support for Israel in the United States. Israel, as Section 11A.01 of Minnesota statutes requires, has been approved investment. Israel has an unblemished record for meeting its obligations, bond obligations. Israel is a per capita leader globally in high technology, agriculture, and medicine, much like our state of Minnesota. Importantly, investment in Israel and investment in Palestine is critical for a two-state solution and resolving the conflict. Economic strength and opportunity is the foundation of a two-state solution. My friend Waleed Issa and I wrote today for Midcoast about this point. Waleed could not join us today for his assistant-in-law family member. Waleed is Palestinian. He holds a master's degree in economics from St. Cloud State University. In December, Waleed accompanied the Palestinian American Chamber of Commerce, a delegation of leading Palestinian businesses, a high-level governmental meeting in Washington, D.C. Waleed also coordinated the Minnesota portion of the trip here. Waleed and I wrote today that continued investment in Israel is important, and that investment in the Palestinian economy is important. And I urge our State Board of Investment to reaffirm its historic investment in Israel through Israel bonds, but also to consider appropriate investment in Palestine and Palestinian businesses in order to bring about the two-state solution we all would like.
I have a motion that I'm going to make that told the last time in 1993 when this initial investment was made in Israeli bonds and voted for it at that time. It's been a steady and reliable investment since. And so this is the motion that I'm going to make. The State Board of Investment declines to divest of its holdings and its bonds issued by the State of Israel, and will continue to invest in the fixed and floating rate bonds offered by the State of Israel, subject to a determination by the Executive Director that the rate of return is competitive, and that the duration, terms, amount, and risk of the investment are consistent with sound investment practices and the prudent investor fiduciary standard of care in Minnesota statutes 11A.09 and section 356A.04. I make that motion. Second? Second. Discussion? Questions?
And I'm a state auditor, and this is the State Board of Investment where we invest funds. And our duty is to be fiduciaries and grow the funds, and not to be involved in politics. We don't do international relations on the board. I heard statements from both testifiers, and I appreciate them coming to the table. Statements talking about us being pro or anti. We do not make investments based on international policy. That's not our job. It's not our role. Other people are charged with doing that. So although there's horrible things happening in the world, SBI is not the place to solve the issues. We don't have the power to do that.
Three is the member of the State Board of Investment to make this initial investment, and I believe it's been steady and reliable. I believe that we should continue it, and I don't think it's appropriate for us as the board to conduct this decision and hoist it onto the professional staff.
Well, I would just say that being a new member, I've made some observations about the process, which the others of you are familiar with it. And I'm very impressed, I have to say, with the layers of review and advice and analysis that team designed to and has successfully brought us to a point where we are insulated from political decisions. And I think that's a good thing, and my understanding is that that has been our tradition, and I hope that continues. And it insulates us from political decisions so that we can focus on what really matters, which is our fiduciary duty, which is spelled out in the statute. So I will be voting today on the basis of that and that alone, which is the fiduciary duty to grow.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Sure, no? Okay, three in favor, and Auditor Otto votes opposed. Any further business coming for the State Board meeting here? So that the meeting is adjourned. We're on to the meeting of the Land Exchange Board.
Yeah, I think it's just
Yeah, it's like when